So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
Make a home, a deathbed. Potato, potato.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior
Potato,
design
potato.
and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about.
Okay, Hannah, you sold me. You sold me, sweetheart. You sold me. I like you. I like you.
What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
Agreed.
What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's been busy. Taking a bat for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly and snaps a few shots and grins.
Pierre, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry. But I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Oh, yeah.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
This is some serious flirting happening here. I approve. It has been too long since I've had a nice proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. Feeling that chocolate. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, we talked and laughed, and I found myself getting a bit too close without realizing it. No, we don't want her living in this house either, honestly. Her husband can stay, but she seems alright. She doesn't deserve it either. She's a bit pompous, but it's because of how she was raised. She seems like a really nice person, actually. I'm rooting for her survival. He gives me a strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. It's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That's how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I'm giving them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered by it. He should be used to the different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when it works. I mean, I could turn off QuickTime events, and I might. That was stressful. We'll see how it goes. They're not bad, but they're a little distracting, and I'm not playing this on. Actually, I could turn the level down on. Yes, I could turn it down. But it's on regular. Actually, I can show you my. Yeah, this is my settings right. And I wasn't sure what this affected, but I think it affects the QuickTime. So if I start having problems, I think. Anyway, if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, and a gentle sway of hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean? I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel. Oh, you're totally flirting. Stop that. Leave our beautiful big boy alone. Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we are doing, right? Somebody's found attention that's not her husband. Well, I'm happy that my pain is amusing to you. Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. What do we want to do here? Do we want to continue teasing him? Or do we want to stop? Let's be nice to him. Zach's been good to us. Let's be nice to him.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
It's adorable, but we don't want to make him hate us. I get the feeling if I continue, he won't. See, I do have relationship bars that I have to keep.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He's such a sweetheart! My only sunshine, that's sweet. He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I'm too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. You want something to happen between you and I'm actually here for it, but still, I get it. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
Hey, he didn't say that.
No.
Oh, Zach, you poor baby.
No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Well, where are we going with this?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
I thought we were gonna stop teasing. I can't help it. I really can't. And I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm pulling his leg. I laugh. The laugh I fail to contain certainly gives it away if it still isn't obvious. Still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objection.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
He's precious.
I never said I would kiss you, silly.
We must protect Zach at all costs.
Oh, Johans!
I said we should stop teasing him. Come now.
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I'd date him.
I can play guitar too.
Oh, hell yeah, I'd date him.
You can?
Love a man that loves some music.
Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then.
We must protect this precious boy with all I am worth.
Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
I don't know. Johans is kind of, Johannes is, he ain't bad. He ain't bad, buddy. As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise in his brow, he heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof, Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he's quick to return a sardonic reply. I like this guy. He must live as well.
As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would make exceptions for this precious man bear.
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually.
Oh, you must stay for dinner.
So,
No,
you have
seriously.
a good night, Hana.
Before this gets any more awkward for you,
And you too,
Hansi.
Pansy.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, the grin on his face, as we say our goodbyes in the sweetest thing I have ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle. He rode a bike out there, Jesus. And backpack safely secured in the basket by the front, and the suitcase hooked on the back. I watched as he went down the path back to Anselm Village until he was nothing more than a blip on the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. He is precious. He is so precious. It's precious beyond words. Save there. He is too fucking precious. Yeah, I'm really having a hard time wishing anything ill on Hannah here. She's been good. She's a sweet thing. Even if she is married to a dick. I'm not sure he's all bad either. He's got his own scenario too, but I don't trust him. I feel like he's hiding something. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electricity work is not up to par. That's clearly not the case, as every other room is bright and with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. Make matters worse, darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle as there is a distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
Oh my god, he's already drinking. There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband, his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if this is the only glass one. Oh no, he is totally drinking absinthe. That is fucked up, man. I never had absinthe. I've always wanted to try it. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe? You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke.
It's not a fun experience.
Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
Why are you drunk? That's the better question. You were supposed to be helping fix up the house. Why have you been
You
drinking?
drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad.
Oh no, she's already mad, homie.
I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons.
Oh my god, that's why you were being an ass to everybody.
And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hana, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
You were such an asshole.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
I think I'm gonna be straight up with him. Or was I? Nah, I don't know. What do you think? Part of me wants to be an ass to him. Part of me really wants to be an ass to him about this. Let's see what my relationship is at. Because if I tell him that could fuck. I really want to tell him that. Fuck kissing his ass this one time.
Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Yeah, fuck his emotions right now. It's fine. I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I actually am to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare just by a look. And that really had struck me when we first met years ago.
Giant Negro.
Whoa, bro.
You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
Secret meeting? Nothing. There's no secret about it. He came to take pictures.
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing.
Yes, you were.
I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup.
That ain't what you just said.
He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that. But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning.
Hold on, let me allow that. How the hell? I don't even have the damn. Look, Autobot, I'm gonna have to fucking turn you off again. I know I have you off. Apparently it turned it back on. That is not a bad word.
He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now as I look at him, there's nothing but the same shade of green as his bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hana.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten due to the course of his little spat, the man jumps to his feet and sees. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
Then put down the absinthe, Luke.
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes.
Actually, no, it affects her too, because she's married with you and you're an asshole when you drink. I mean, you're an asshole when you're not drinking. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's an asshole when he's not drinking, because he's never not been drinking.
Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous.
I think you've been jealous, you asshat.
Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. Platter of native oysters for starters, a trash of turbot, a turbot with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, Adobe sauce. The saying it is a mouthful, but the fish actually looks pretty damn good. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge with custard. When our appetites are appeased, plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me there. Half-empty cup. Only in the love of the night, I sit in a house too big and too foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tones and homelier decor, it feels cold. There's no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle. This is a minor setback and what I hope will be a long, happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and our future children fills me with vigor. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. Whoa, 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 whoa! Wailing is far away and muffled. Yet at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it. And if the suffering is just, as if the suffering is just standing right beside. Oh no, no, no! Hearing it sends chills down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going. Let me read that. Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful source into the kitchen and into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I am curious and concerned, but there is no way I'm going down in that document. I am not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going. If this is one of the household help, it will surely need some talking to. After all, this will be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they're still human. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who calmed them down, would help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not high spirits right now, so I'm not wholly benevolent. So I knock 3 times. Wait for any sort of reply. It yields me no results, and I've already touched the floor far too many times than I would like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than with threats. Shouting angrily would not help coasting them out.
You in the cellar, do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we? That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
Still nothing.
You can have a good cry, just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
With how long I'm standing here now, however, I'm starting to think myself a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as Willing took an eerie turn. Thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I have to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I try one more time.
Now you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me? Why, I ought to.
I freeze as the hand clamps down on my shoulder. This dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known, and as I kneel, unmoved, moving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest, but the touch is gone as quickly as it ceased. Oh God. It's only Johannes when I look back and see who's there.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I doubt anybody would have heard her.
I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
Grows silent for a moment and looks concerned. At least, I like to interpret it as concern, given how stoic our head butler is. Or rather, it must have been concern, as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand at my forehead for his worrisome.
I beg your pardon. What? Crying woman? Are you feeling well, madam?
In the cellar? Can't you hear her?
Madam Hannah, no one is down there.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys. Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief. But when I listen once more, I hear no crying. I tug at the hatch for good measure, proves his words to be true. The thing won't budge unless I had a key, short of using power tools on.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam.
Perhaps it is time for some buyer's remorse.
You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience. But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? I am just tired, that's it. Long day of moving, the interview, dealing with Luke. That has all drained me of my proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johannes. Good night, house.
It's just fatigue. But I keep telling myself, although I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Either there's something wrong with the house, or there's something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide in their hair of him to be found, and calling him on his mobile is a bust. It only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. For him to disappear today, of all days, is a bit upsetting because of what it's come to. What's to come? The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day. Although, unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent only after, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Wonderful. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house, after all. And a grand housewarming party is a wonderful right man. Every person of importance from Luxborn is invited. There will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances, who are made no less important regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discussed business, last minute touches of the house before finalizing everything. Not that there's much change from our original plan. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion.
They're all mad. I wouldn't be working on this place. I would not be working on this place. To be real about that.
There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted was completely practical. In the end, he had acquiesced. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from an antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit in one of our hotels instead. Always Luke's own assistant. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom on the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I did not agree for him to have a helipad. He really wants that fucking helicopter.
Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his request right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain and whinge about how unfair this is. However, to air one's dirty laundry is simply too taboo amongst the high society. To do so will make you a ripe target of the next dinner party's chit chat. Vultures, a lot of them, really. Or most of them, at least. There's always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person, and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I'm being too brash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne raised brow made me unsure whether she was interested or not. Although it does make things better if she has no interest and therefore no hidden intent on utilizing whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her.
Sounds familiar.
Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
I don't know, or be honest with me. She seems like the type that wants me to tell her to be honest. Yeah, she seems like the positive type, so.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it. I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her on a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad of a situation that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We've put up an act of a perfect couple for years, although it hasn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course. It is a necessity for her career, and she's been working so closely with it. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
She didn't go that far, but yes? Question mark?
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. but it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships, so grain of salt and all that.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, lady. Trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There's a calm despite the nature of what's just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice a lie is a lie. And to say that it might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes. Plenty have celebrated long, happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Isn't a whole lot of time to see what or where our relationship can bring it. At the same time, 7 years, well, hasn't entirely been made up of happy years. It hasn't. It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements will turn into our all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him, and I feel that there's still some part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will see some sense. There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long, and I moved to apologize when she's standing up. We both end up on our feet, unsure of how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs, and we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party. Oh, you really must, Marianne.
No, I don't like this.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
It's awkward. I'm leaving, lady.
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great, organized mess. Aside from our household help, we've hired the service of the temp agency provide staff for the right enterprise of the hospitality sector. Even our skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about droves, carrying crockery and serveware for several dozen people, and then some. The chefs, and the bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like scared children. He escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar to pursue the stocks, to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
Yeah, no snails. No snails, please. This is a snail-free zone! World decor worth thousands of filled vases, wreaths, and baskets. White petals are scattered along the driveway up the yard. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake. That is not a simple fucking cake. A simple cake is that top layer. That's a simple cake. This is not a simple cake. And it's got gold leaf on it too. Hell no, this is not a simple cake. 5-tier white chiffon with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dousing of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact I told Marianne how I will attend to all of this, I found myself unable to focus or care about it again. I still have a discussion running through my mind, and looking at all of this, I only see Luke everywhere. There are the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, simple gathering. Only a few select invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politician or paparazzi here, no matter how used I am to catering to.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
The entire thing screams Luke Wright, and I cannot help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays. What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly I am, still today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaisons, and public relations supervised and staff, and, well, generally I have a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was ready to quit I was already quite the attention seeker back then, having dedicated most of my youth to craving my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looking for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it was. Oh, and Luke? Oh, Luke. The way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one. He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, both my faults and achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be. I remember the night before we married, where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy to little things such as what we had for breakfast and whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault. They told me that husband preferred wives who were docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in any aspects of beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend his need, to have children, to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, but I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
And Luke.
No, I didn't mean to do that.
The guests have arrived, madam. Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
That bastard ain't coming.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't hurry.
Cars line up in the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion in vehicles of every kind. Grand Touriers, supercars, even the odd high-end muscle car or two, convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen parked by valet. A handful of cabs drive off. Possible for those who... Whoa, my eyesight did something weird, like it looked like the side of the house was caving in. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxborn so far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holiday.
Welcome everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we were experiencing before the gloomy skies inevitably returned. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power. The ties that bind these individuals were whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few that are not here to further cement their current place in high society. This is a young man with his oriental air, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, all right?
Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone while she looks unsure of why she's here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few other of the media crew with the air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. Yeah, and the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I had invited Father Norman, too. The least I can do after the blessing, he blessed the mansion on my request, aside from my small donation to the church, of course. But the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. Ooh, I'm gonna have to play that part again just to see what happened to him, because I chose the professor rather than the father. I'm guessing the father would have I would have found out more about what happened with the father if I had done with Isabella. And then there are people like the chief inspector, people I can never be too sure about, people who stand on the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies.
And that's what women do at parties. I'm just gonna be real.
It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body.
That's not funny. That's not funny, man.
I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead.
This dude is the worst. He's worse than Luke.
The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
What a shame she missed.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
Have I mentioned how I don't trust him, or no matter how I try to do so? At least he bought a gift, I suppose.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes us by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the portier instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started playing and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly as I'm pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. And when they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more than to make music. One of our local hotel managers worry about stolen belongings to one of his patrons. A small failing in security which should be brought up to the higher authorities soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there's that rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinctive locks. She also lacks grace that the other ladies have, although that doesn't make her any less beautiful. Her stance in the air she exudes instead are strong. They make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although there is no great mystery that as to what occupies her attention as she keeps glancing towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware though, even though I stand beside her pretending I'm here for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do not speak after. He merely passes by, and it's a wonder he doesn't hear what I said.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
That expression could kill someone. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow red so fast. And the shade of the shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've ever seen on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
You want him to be.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed.
Did I mention I like Hannah?
Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
Oh, you've totally been staring at him this whole time.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
Little column A, little column B, maybe.
It's more the latter currently.
Ooh.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel burning of someone's stares. It's chilling. Although I'm used to enduring gazes of others, this one makes the hair on the back of my neck stand. Is she always fucking there? That's fucked up, man! How you just gonna lurk on them like that? It's chilling, and though I'm used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs... Alright. My attention is pulled from the girl to see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks like a beggar than a guest, and I have half a mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks out into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then, in a blink, she's gone and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but are you all right?
No, that's not an alright moment right there.
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall the kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. usually stovies, which I hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
Would it be Ashton?
What was it again?
Could be Ash. Could be. Just a guess.
Adele.
Damn.
Albert. Alexander. Andrew?
The more I list off names, the more red and quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I've triggered some horrible childhood memory. I surely hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash!
Oh.
That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I am down with making Becky uncomfortable. I appreciate Hannah. Hannah's very good at making all of them very awkwardly uncomfortable. I love it.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
They are quite adorable. And a tad bit sad. Yes, it is. It is quite sad, especially considering Ash has his eyes set on somebody else she's met.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Hannah is fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky.
You are just the cruelest little woman.
Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I don't know about that.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right?
Yeah.
You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own.
I feel like Becky's striking a little too close to home.
You have to work at it. But what do I know?
You're still pining over the same idiot. There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. He was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually.
Close enough.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
Aren't they all, sweetie?
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress or the pink blouse with a petticoat? She must have kept some of that. Must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering that all these years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Although, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment I mull over what she's just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There's no time to ponder over that. However, hush descends as once lively crowd. The music streams clatter to a slow grinding halt as the doors to the foyer open. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago. And anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. Well, I can think of one person that belongs in this house that would show up. So it can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive late at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying
Already
the party?
fucking drinking.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to the presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. I can tell by the way people's lives light up when he speaks. However, how they listen enraptured, even if he's doing it all as a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands here, and a smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he's not going to be a businessman, he'd do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to his humbly share his space. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen. If you would excuse my presumptuousness.
You're such a pompous asshole.
So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
There's a round of applause and cheers and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally and praises on their lips. It's because of this I do not see her. I do not see her until she's dangerous close, fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Johannes restrains her, taking care not necessarily harm the pregnant one. But that does little to deter her rage, and the man, she has no choice but to let her go, and lest an unborn child be hurt. Although it might be too late for that, I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. How much does she imbibe this in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you mutter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here!
Has he been banging your friend?
You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
Oh, he's totally been banging her. She interrupted me, jabbing a finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out amongst the guests, all focus is in the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated by the smell of alcohol in her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I am absolutely pissed by the fact she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There's a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, tight smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
You just got here, you asshat! I'm just about to ask this exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee, collect your wife right now.
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Oh, he totally did.
You told me that I should wait for you in the garden.
Oh, shit. It's going down.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard.
Oh!
You promise me you'll take responsibility.
Oh, shit.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What? What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman!
Oh, I called this shit.
Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
Oh, I think she's made a fool out of all of y'all right now, bruh.
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
Actually, yeah, she does really
Does
want a
she
baby.
look like she could take care of a baby?
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit, this got crazy. This got crazy. It is now that Johannes returns with security along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol.
Yeah, no, I believe her. I fully believe her.
Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
I don't think she cares, man.
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Oh no, the gossip is ripe with this, baby. The gossip is so ripe with what just happened. Oh, wait, shit. I didn't mean to skip that. See. Is there really nothing here but ramblings of a drunk? Yep, that's right. There's no way that Rochelle would say what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meeting is to be arranged, he won't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely won't promise responsibility over a child unless it can be. Besides, Luke will never go as far to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine, who am I kidding? If I am to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that just make my blood boil? Think of the slightest possibility of infidelity. Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke was still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. Yo, no, fuck this dude. Maybe Marianne had a point. And if I am frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some time apart may just be what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads, to think for ourselves, or for myself to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous, actually, now that I think about it. Luke is busy making a scene, too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me aside, to the side. She looks disturbed as I am by the sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it at any rate. Not surprising, his parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey, I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there. Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Just... Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca, this is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
How did you miss her, dude? If I am to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'd say the odds are about 1 out of 1,000. And if this was any other situation, I would have been suspicious. This isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I've met on separate occasions know each other. What will be a complete random happenstance. It's just that it's been faked before, trying to dupe me because of who I am and who I'm married to. Right now, coincidence or no, I'm just grateful for the help. As long as it doesn't turn out to be a kidnapping anyway.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hana out of here?
I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make quick work of getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, even if they want to approach me. And if that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. She's good for something. Even make it out of the ballroom without any untoward incident. Though judging by the commotion in the other room, the same could not be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need the fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is a good start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back into the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I'm gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what had just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, though, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Oh, okay.
He's so awkward, I love him. I can see the tension in the lines of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional professional? I can't speak. We had met on professional terms, certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue and apparent discomfort we were left alone. Not right away, anyway. I know my curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
A beat.
I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh yeah, I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room. Or handling intense drama, you know?
Yeah, I mean, not many people are.
Sorry about my clothes. didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food too. Of course, I make most of them myself.
Oh yeah, man, they can cook.
There's usually a dozen people or less, and all
Or
we
girl,
really do
whatever.
is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. You sure you're alright? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
My husband was fucking my best friend and got her pregnant. I mean, what else do you want to say about that?
You can scream married if you want. I won't snitch.
It's not a bad plan, actually.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and you know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
That just made me happy. Just her saying flying fuck made me happy. I don't know why it made me happy, but it made me happy.
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
Point made.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Although he'd deserve it if he did.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
You dance while somebody sings terribly. I mean, it's a very simple concept, actually.
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can, but there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least.
Twist, really? Really, Zach? Really? Oh, this precious boy.
I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
Oh, awkward dancing is the best dancing. Prove it. Yeah, prove it.
I've learned that men tend to exaggerate. You can't honestly be that bad, can you?
What? Do you need a demonstration?
Sure do. Prove it to me, buddy.
That would be preferable, yes.
It's not like there's music here, Hana. Come on. I can barely dance with music, and I don't want to be dancing alone. I'll just look silly.
Imagine, mon ami. You are an artiste, are you not? With your photos and films and your guitar. You must know notes to play an instrument. Find a melody and a beat.
Yes, let's make this man be a fool.
Would it be such a stretch of the imagination? And don't fret, I will gladly be your partner.
This is awkward. This is very awkward. I can tell by his expression that he's flushed. Embarrassed. But no more protests escape from him, and he focuses with a light tilt of his head. He starts to hum a little tune. I drag him to the gardens while we go through the motions, and he gains courage, and the farther we get from other people. And we just dance. Though he stumbles at first, unsure and bashful.
Where did you even learn to dance,
He
Zach?
didn't. That's the trick. He didn't.
The 60s want their moves back, honestly.
The college of two left feet, obviously. And I'll have you know the twist is still an awesome dance.
He's really doing a twist. That's actually impressive. We're happy and we're having fun. Even if Zachary fumbles with his steps and and did the funniest, oddest movements that anyone can pass off as dancing. There's no need to impress anyone, however, not even each other. This is the most I smiled and laughed in a long time. See, you found your Prince Charming right there. Zach is your dude. Zach is your dude. You don't need Mr. Sleazebag in there. You got Zach. Zach is our precious boy and we must protect him. It is simple. Simple is nice. I wish the same could be said about what I'm about to do. Simple is an adjective that I will use to describe the task at hand. Because, really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate and say that, no, it is not a divorce? Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I even to explain to that Luke without him throwing a fit? Heading too deeply into my sausage, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent all the while, his chin in his hand, elbow resting on the table. I'm worried that my absence after the debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke?
Oh, that's a cool achievement. I appreciate that one. It's not you, it's you. That's the name of the achievement. I appreciate
think we
that.
need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
That was not the reaction I was expecting. It isn't supposed to be this easy, is it? Can he really be so aloof to it?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hana. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food and chooses instead to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and just stops short of putting his feet up on the table. I suspect he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his hands.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start on the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
Oh, he's such an asshole.
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her.
Of course he believes her, you fucking asshat!
You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Oh, you are a piece of trash, honestly.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell right?
Name's Lucille. Lucy boy!
Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Yeah, unless he knocked her up by fucking accident.
Sure, whatever you say.
I don't really care that Luke isn't happy. His mouth drawn to a thin line, I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive, and if anything, this proves to me that that's his fucking kid in her belly. It only emphasizes the wall that's been built up by my obedience and his hubris. And it looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps? I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. And I'll be lying if I said that it didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. A man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now, just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if if this does end the divorce, a thing that we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here? Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you?
Well, aren't you a fucking dick, dude?
Go ahead. I won't stop you.
He doesn't want to be with her anymore. He wants out, and this just gave him an easy way to do it. Go ahead and do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibility for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job? And with Johannes overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole, it doesn't leave much for me to do. I can't even take the job delegation because it takes all it takes is a word from one of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. Moving in here a few days ago, that may well have been a chore. It took the most effort. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hannah, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
Can I feed him to the house? I'm okay with feeding him to the house. I'm just gonna be real. There are no dishes set aside, and I busy myself. Any mess left behind now is nearly non-existent. Sit on a counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off. I don't really know what brought me to the kitchen in the first place. It's not like I'm craving anything, nor do I have any unfinished business left. But there is a calling to this room. Speaking of calling, why not just do that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least there will be that will require some effort on my part. With how cut off from the rest of Luxborn the mansion is, and with how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution, supposed to be, are mobiles, though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in the area. It'd take a bit of maneuvering to get even a single bar as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear on one of the cold drawers, but this suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She, who must not be named, is certainly off the list, and that doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with a category of who else is awake at this early hour. Soon enough, I managed the call to go through.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here. Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh wait, how did you get my number?
Questions. She's rich. She bought it.
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving.
Oh, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
He doesn't have privacy. Have you met his friends?
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two on a first name basis and all.
He is so awkward.
So
You
here's
dance
the
together, it's fun.
right, it's
Call suddenly goes static, much to my frustration. The strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words, too. I can barely understand what she's saying. And the line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming on. Along. Just, oh god, there's something in my eye. Oh, this is not good timing. Is she attacking me too? No! Okay, I'm done being dramatic. It was an eyelash in my eye, though. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from a light throbbing on one side of my head. The static's gone, and that helps a lot. But there's still the incessant, horrible clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make any sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the latch leading to the wine cellar once more. Save. That's when the clicking stops and I can hear the crying, that familiar crying from before. What happened the other day when I was told nobody should have been down there? I tried to forget because of how it unsettled me, so. One can hardly do that when I look at the very thing that I'm trying to forget. Someone is crying down there again. And if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. They might have forgotten to lock it with the party going on.
This again? If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
Girl, nobody is pulling your leg, although she might try to pull your leg off. True enough, all it takes is a bit to pull the latch open. As I look down the cellar, a sense of unease washes over me. It isn't just a sudden onset of vertigo or nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. As I look down, it feels as if it's going to look back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me in and drag me into the deep. The cries drown beneath the shrieks that start echoing in my head, high and shrill, like nails being dragged down across the chalkboard. They're all screaming, shouting at me, and I can feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down, and crush me with the very depths of the darkness until there's nothing left of me. The deep abyss is waiting for me. For my death. They are calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck. I can feel it. I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. They're still screaming. I'm screaming. And though it's not my voice that escapes my lips, it claws through, climbing and forcing its way up my throat like putrid bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek at the same time. And I'm me, but not me. Oh shit! WW! Oh shit! I fucked up. Z. G. 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 I. It pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. Okay, I prefer the typing part than the fucking timing thing, okay? Although I fucked up the first one. I wasn't expecting it to be like a letter I wasn't looking for. This is tense. This would be a whole lot easier if it was on a controller. It's fun. It's still fun. I like this game. It pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble, and I can feel my whole body seizing with writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I actually am.
Hana, what is going on in here? Why are you?
Prince.
Seeing Luke, something snaps back, and I am unable to gasp. And I'm able to gasp with air on my arm, on my own volition, the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name if the pain still didn't rack my body. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradling me in his arm. He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of here. But all he is able to do is get me to sit, make sure I'm not thrashing on the floor. I'm not trashing on the floor. I think I meant to be thrashing. Typo. I can still feel my muscle spasms, limbs jerking like a puppet on a string. Luke holds me tight and still, so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, my mind feels frayed and battered. Eventually, the pain dies down to a dull ache and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. Only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A cough racks my body, and now I don't feel like choking. And it all just feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hana.
I still don't like Luke. I still want to feed him to the house.
You're safe now.
Is she? I don't think she is.